Good afternoon. It is April 20th, 2026. You're listening to a Little Column A, Little Column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? The play-in games, the early ones, for sure, absolutely delivered. And then after that, oh boy, did we just, it was not the most exciting basketball. It was competitive basketball, but we are just dealing with blowout after blowout, except for one upset that I think is possibly the most surprising if you had to rank all the potential upsets. And I don't even think that's so much of how good the Pistons were. It's just what we've seen from Orlando, both the past 2 months, and then really the exclamation point put on it the past week or so. I was traveling over the weekend, so I'm a little behind, on the podcast. So this morning, I'm listening to a lot of the podcasts from Friday, and it's just all of these doom and gloom Magic thoughts, and even us last Monday are going, do the Magic even really want their season to continue? And then Monday, you're coming in, it's like, oh, okay, maybe the Magic got a little, may I say, just they may have a little magic.
There's two things to talk about here. First, there's the play-in game situation of the feeling you had of Orlando going into it, and then we can talk about the actual game of yesterday. They lose, and possibly strategically lose, to Philly, who's now playing Boston, and then they have to battle out Charlotte, in which they kind of really take care of business and truly wake up. That was a beatdown on Charlotte. So this starts from there. And now I ask you, is this a coincidence or gamesmanship? Do you think they wanted to play Detroit? Do you think they sniffed something out of all this? Because this was just a physical, tough sledding sort of game that I thought really benefited Orlando a whole lot. Like they looked good. They had better quality possessions. They looked like they were going to get better shots. They felt like the speed was to their advantage. I think they really set a tone and might be really onto something here. I think they will win game 2. I think Orlando will win game 2. But do you think this was a coincidence, or do you think they wanted this?
I'm not going to give the Magic any sort of credit after they could have won and could have improved their spot, and instead lost to the G League Celtics. So I'm just not going to give them credit like this was some sort of grand plan. I think it wasn't even so much the win as they led right from the beginning. From start to finish, they never relinquished their lead. It for sure got close. It was, they kind of got a lead, but it was in one possession, but they always kept the Pistons just arm's length away. I think this was the fluke game. I think the Pistons, they're going to take care of business in game 2. This might even turn into it'll just be 5. The Pistons will rattle off 4. But yeah, I think this was the anomaly. We've seen the Magic. I think there is some sort of a toughness that the Magic have had, and we knew that coming into the year, but they haven't shown it in a while. So I would be very surprised if they took a second one from the Pistons on the road.
I think we have this sort of expectation pendulum theory where we've been so out on Orlando. You just said everything you needed to say why would this team ever get another win? Why would this team even make the playoffs? We thought they were just going to mail it in. After we said 1, 2, 3, Cancun, we're done. Let's just get out of here. For them to kind of wake up,
finish this,
and come back. I think it's because there were suddenly no expectations on this team and that they are the underdog. I think this is what's going to happen, right? This is my theory. They're going to win game 2. They're going to go up 2-0. But you know what's going to happen? That pendulum's going to swing back the other way, where suddenly they're going to have the expectations that maybe we had earlier in the year, that this is an actual contender. And it's going to fizzle out again. They're not going to be able to handle it, Zach. It's going to collapse the other way, and Detroit will be the underdog, being down 2-0, blowing home court, and they're going to win in 7. That's my guess. Detroit will win in 7, and this is going to swing back and forth.
I'd sign up for that, for the excitement factor. I just don't see it coming. But maybe I just haven't adjusted my Magic expectations off of just one game 1 performance.
Franz has played in a lot of big games. It was disappointing to see him struggle throughout the season. But
wait, has he?
In the Olympics, we're not giving those international wins. Those don't count anything. Those are big games.
Okay. There's not a lot of Olympic games, so some. I don't know if I'd say a lot, but okay.
I would just say he's been notably a top performer in those games. He's obviously has his disappearing acts.
For Team Germany. Gotcha. Okay.
I thought he was awesome yesterday. No credit to give to anybody. Okay.
I just you were I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward. You seem to think that he's going to be able to do this again, and I just don't think he will.
What is Detroit going to do differently?
I mean, that's where there is concern there. Where Cade, I think maybe coming in, had the collapsed lung, has come back, but it takes a little bit to get ramped up. Hey, he's got 39 points. He played awesome. Maybe not like the best efficiency, but definitely not a 40 field goal attempt or anything like that. But yeah, he's got 39 points, and they still get beat by double digits. So I really think that it's going to have to be the guys around him that really step up.
I think it's going to take a little bit for those guys to step up. I don't know if they've figured out the lineup. The rotation seemed a little weird. I want to talk about coaching in the next matchup between the Lakers and
Yeah,
Houston.
I think it was like Thompson only played like 7 minutes in the second half. Just kind of bizarre.
Zach, how many games do we play throughout the year?
The regular season, 82.
Yeah, the answer's too many. And yet we still have coaches that are testing lineups in game one of the playoffs as if they're just meeting each other. The Houston game is even worse of an example of Ime. Ime's just reaching for help at this point, of which he's had the entire season to try every single combination of things and maybe even prepare for a scenario without Durant. And yet they look completely unprepared. And I thought Detroit was similar to that, where they were looking for the lineup. They end up with the lineup with Cade and the other guy that took his place and was playing really well for the last couple of weeks. I'm blanking on his name. That lineup hasn't been a lineup they really have used a whole lot. What are these 82 games for these coaches if they're just going to suddenly do something different and then say, well, I don't know if that didn't work, and then they could have tested this stuff out. We have 82 games, Zach. What I think the coaching should be judged for all of this, and that this is blasphemy that we don't know enough about our rosters and are still learning stuff in the first game. Is there any solution to all this?
I'm willing to give a little more of a pass to Ime, because there was no indication that Durant wasn't going to play until what was that? An hour before the game? I mean, it was right before, so I don't know exactly what changed. I don't know if he's playing game two. I hear you on you have to be ready for anything, but I mean that's pretty late in the process to figure out. They're not going to play. I would still like to think you'd be able to get your act together, where the Lakers are missing two of their starters, so still figure it out. But that Magic winning is for sure the largest surprise, but Durant not playing and losing to the Lakers, that might have been the second surprise, and by so much.
It didn't look good. I feel bad for Reed Shepherd. I really do. I think he should ask for a trade, and everyone will make fun of him for it. But I would understand. Would you understand? It's just such a misuse, and now he's going to get blamed for things. It's like we had an entire year to get ready for this, and we just chose not to.
I mean, he could try. I don't think that's gonna be a good look for him.
Well, without KD, the spacing just doesn't exist. There's no point in playing Şengün. There's no point in playing Shepherd if you just put no spacing around either of them. This is just zero shooting available, and they're just throwing these lineups out there, being like, "Well, maybe someone will hit a shot, or maybe someone will be able to bring the ball up without turning it over." It's ridiculous. It's borderline unprofessional at this point. These sort of roster adjustments of 82 games, Zach. 82 games to figure this stuff out, man. I don't know what more we could have. It's too many games to begin with. You shouldn't be trying things out at this point. I really think Ime is on the hot seat at this point, and I may even be at the point where I don't even think Durant can fix this. Like, do you think they're just one Durant away? Like, you put Durant in that's a win? There's a lot of mistakes.
I think so, because they're missing Luka and they're missing Reeves. It's just LeBron. It's LeBron. You got Marcus Smart playing starters like full minutes.
He's got a lot of time in the round one for LeBron. Maximum rest between all these games. I think he's got back-to-back 3-day games. 3 days between the games.
I mean, think about if you were just, even just like a couple of months ago, to say, hey, we have a team where DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, and Luke Kennard are going to be playing major minutes, and they're going to, beat the Rockets. And even you mentioned without Durant, it's just like, oh, well, okay, like they got LeBron and Luka. It's like, oh no, they only have LeBron. Like, what? Just how?
They don't have Reeves either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's two of their main starters, and basically all those starters had to play, in not quite the the whole game, but they didn't have much coming off the bench.
Are you worried about Houston then? Do you think the Lakers have enough? Or you
Yes, I am worried about Houston because Durant is hurt out of nowhere. I don't know if he's going to play again. And there's been concern about the Rockets for a while now. It just thought, hey, the Lakers, they're just too hurt. But now it's hurt team versus hurt team. And yes, now I'm very much concerned because now LeBron has got a lead. And I think that he will know how to do just enough to pull out the series.
I think the Lakers are going to win with or without Durant. The Durant thing, are we ever going to get an explanation to this? It really comes out of nowhere. Does it matter what the explanation is? Like, it feels to me as if something happened unbasketball related to him. Like he fell down the stairs or something non-contact sort of related. Because as far as I know, he was fine. How does this story not come out any sooner?
They showed him. I don't know if it was shoot around or it must have been shoot around. And there was a regular video of him just shooting jumpers, and nothing looked out of place.
Do you think they knew they were going to be able to handle the Lakers, and that this is almost like scheduled rest, and now it is blown up in their face after they blew the first game?
I see what you're saying, but I can't imagine that to be the case because this is the playoffs. Like, you can't take anything for granted.
7 games. Long time in between. We just talked about how LeBron's getting the rest. Maybe they looked at this and they're like, well, we could just sit Durant out the first 2 games, and there's a week. Bring her back game 3. Now we're over a week. There's a little bit of strategy there. I can't imagine
maybe
doing it.
Maybe, but now you're done. Now you're down. Now you're down. I suppose maybe you could chalk it up to, hey, we were playing on the road anyway. If we can win game 2, you would easily take tied 1-1 going back home for 2 games. But I think that's a really risky strategy. I think he was legitimately hurt.
Maybe they're drastically underestimating the Lakers without Luka and Reeves still.
Bronny even got to play.
Yeah, it's still weird to me. He's fine. The coaching on the floor, where I could see LeBron's patience with him is being nice, but there's also some real serious coaching happening throughout the game, and it's just weird. I'm not comfortable with it yet. Maybe if it happened more often, I'd feel a bit better about it, but I'm not against it. I think a lot of people say this sort of stuff that they're actually against it, but I'm just not used to it. Is that fine?
I think that's fine.
That's fine. All right. Any other Laker talk?
If his last name's not James, he's not on this team. He's not playing. There's none of this.
He does hustle out there. I think if you took away the name of all this and he was a no-name guy that played, when he came in and does the stuff he does, I think you would like him. Like if he was a Jordan Walsh sort of guy that's been at the end of the bench and then comes in and gets a fast break layup, that's nice. That's great. But because he's LeBron James' son and he doesn't come in and take over the offense, it's newsworthy.
Bro, we've already talked about this probably for too long. He played for 4 minutes. It was just that he even got in the game. I was surprised.
I think he'll get a game a little bit more. All right, next matchup I'd like to talk about, Knicks Atlanta. Brunson was on a heater. I think this is a typical CJ McCollum game, and it has the typical CJ McCollum ceiling. And I don't know if it's enough. How many games will he get out? Will they make it to 7?
I still think that Atlanta has got a little bit something. You lose double digits game 1, but you're at MSG. MSG is absolutely rocking. You see all the fans after the game all spilling out in the street having a good time. But it's one win. I think once they get it back to Atlanta, I think they still got they got some punch. I think they have some punch. I think they have some experience, and I think they could make this into more of a series. I don't think this is going to be over quickly.
I like to see it because I don't think the rest of the matchups that we have remaining are going to have many games. I think the rest of the matchups are sweeps. I think Boston's a sweep. I think OKC's a sweep. I think the Spurs are a sweep. I think Denver's a sweep. I think the Cavs are a sweep. Any disagreement?
I'm going to push back because this is, I'm not going to say this is what always happens, but you're the favorite. You're supposed to win game 1. And for sure, a lot of these have been more dominant victories, not, hey, it's a single digit game. The home team just kind of barely pulled it out. But it's not unusual for the home teams to win game 1 and 2, and then it goes to the other side, and then that's when, if the teams are close, and that a week later, all of a sudden, okay, now we have a series that's tied 2-2. So it's easy right now just to go, nope, it's all over, all sweeps, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Boston historically has not been very good at home in the playoffs. It doesn't make sense. We've still had a lot of success. We've advanced many rounds, and yet we kind of blow this game every year of the past couple of years, if I remember correctly. How do you feel kind of almost getting over the hump and almost feeling good at home again in a dominant fashion? A true power seed finally. Opening night.
I have been waiting since yesterday to talk about the Celtics. That was awesome. I know we were supposed to win by a bunch, but it's not that long ago. We had that Miami series where we were double digit favorites. We had the meltdowns versus the Knicks last year, where I don't know if we were double digit favorites, but we were expected to win. And so I didn't like coming into the game that we were double digit favorites with they don't have Embiid, but Embiid has been kind of hobbled all year. It's not Paul George, capital letters, but it's like, it's still that's Paul George out there, and you still have Maxey. Maxey, I think, can take over a game. But the way that the game went, just took the lead, never relinquished it. And then during the game, I may have misheard this. I thought I heard that when the Celtics are up by 20 points this year, they're 36-0, where I think we notice it more as a team that we are following the closest, where it feels like we'll give up those larger leads more than other teams, and it's just something you notice more. But to have that, I'm going to credit this up to Missoula of we are not going to relinquish the lead. If we get up, there is no mercy. Like, we are just going to continue, full throttle and just destroy these teams. And that's exactly what we did. And what I thought was that we didn't even play the best basketball. I thought, especially in the first half, Tatum looked really good, and then in the second half, I think he scored 20 in the first half, and then only had 5 in the second. Was really nice, especially just starting the playoffs. That all of our starters all got rest in the fourth quarter, so I think that will be helpful going forward, especially if we can really stay locked in, not just in one game, but for the series, and not let up and go, now we're up 1, and then you trip up, Tuesday night, and all of a sudden you got a series, you got to play more games. If we want, especially, with Tatum, as much rest as possible. But I think we could still play even better.
I think the lead sustainability has to do with the coaching in the roster depth of this team. We're not just putting guys, like, we're really playing a lot of guys, and the guys that come in they're not relinquishing the lead, like you said. It's hard to say that they're better than the championship team, but I do rely on this bench a lot more. I have a lot more confidence in them and sort of their ability to find ways to impact the game, whether it's not just direct offensive execution. It could be a steal, a block, a charge, a foul. I don't know. I think they're finding ways to impact the game by just playing hard, and that sounds silly in the playoffs, but I feel like we have 12 guys that are going to play their ass off every night, and that's such a credit to Missoula that I don't think we're going to give up a lead. I think it's really competitive to get in that lineup too. We took a lot of chances this year. We're playing a lot of different guys. Some guys were in the rotation, some guys weren't. Some guys got traded. It's hard to get in that lineup. So once you do, I think you really get rewarded with the effort. And I see it, and I see it over Philly. I'm not questioning Philly's effort, but Boston's ability to not blow leads, I think, has to do with how much our bench tries. As simple as it is.
I think that regular season, awesome. I do have some concern as you start to look through it, where comparing it to the championship team. Championship team had Drew Holiday. He already had a championship. Had Porzingis. Had Al Horford, who hadn't had a championship but had a lot of playoff experience. At home, this might be more than what we've had in the past of the role players playing better at home and then way worse on the road. I think we might be okay because all of the guys that we're referring to, I'm going to name here, are all like a lot of effort on the defensive end. So if your shot's not falling, you're not just a complete zero or a negative. But looking through the list, Vooch has not played in a lot of playoff games. Probably a lot of play-in games, but not a lot of playoff games. Luka, I mean, he was on those Timberwolves teams, but I mean, he was not really out there much. I don't think he's going to be out there very much. Peyton, got complete confidence in him, 6-man, ready to go. But Baylor, Walsh, if Hugo is in there, I can't imagine Ron Harper's really going to be playing in any of these minutes. These are all guys that have not been playoff tested. So it's one thing during the regular season when you could just try hard, Missoula can put you in there, but cautioning of what happens game 3, we go to Philly. Philly has a specific plan of this is what we are going to take away from you, and it's not, we're kind of focused on the Jays, and we're not really worried about guys down the list.
I think Sharman's going to play better on the road of all those guys. It won't make any sense, but I think Sharman plays
Is
better
it the
on the road.
mullet or is it the facial hair?
I think it's the unbothered attitude. It won't matter. Bother him more, and I think he'll thrive more. Is bordering on what I want to say for him, but I think he'll be better on the road. What I took away from game 1 the most is this was the most 1-2 combo efficiency we've ever had with Tatum and Brown. Tatum was very effective in the first half, as you mentioned. I thought Brown was awesome in the third quarter. It really felt like they both got their chance to shine, and nothing is colliding with one another like it has in past offenses, where we just can't get over the lack of ball movement, I guess. We just get stuck in the mud at times. Things are happening, and it feels like guys know what they want to do, and they're getting the ball where they are able to do those things. And the ball's moving. I like that. Like, does it feel like the ball's moving?
Yes, it's definitely we're running this the same offense that is absolutely homing. And I mean that's really what we should be doing against this Sixer team, where their strengths I just don't think line up with what we do. So it's definitely an advantage for us.
Maxi's got a 50-point game heading our way. I have no solution of avoiding it. It's coming. It's going to be big points. He's going to be shooting it from half court. Just fend it off. Hopefully we make some shots that night, because if we were to lose a game,
he's just so fast, and we don't necessarily have the guy that like really matches up well with him. But I don't even know if there's really anybody in the league that really matches up with it. He's just so fast, and he just gets to his spots. But I think that it could be he scores 50, and then that we still win that game because he's got to take so many shots, and we just wear him out.
very possible. I thought Tatum looked really good, athletic-wise, in terms of injury recovery. There, he split some double teams. He had a nice dunk off of that. He's rebounding.
Two dunks.
The defense is really good. The on-ball defense, I wouldn't have put him in the situations he's already in right now, where he's really moving the feet. He's really using the Achilles. He's really full use, man. We are not holding back anything at this point,
we were talking about this, and we are probably some of the more optimistic people, and was still thinking, all right, we're not getting, capital letters Jason Tatum back, but even just, 75% was kind of what my height was of, all right, he's not going to do all of his normal things, but if he can just have like the offense, and then, the other guys are still going to see him out there and go, oh, Jason Tatum, and, a little bit of a decoy, but he's doing all the things. I mean, I think the one maybe nitpick was it just still seems like the 3-pointer hasn't quite gotten back there. But I mean, there has to be something. I mean, it can't just like be all the way back this quickly. Where he's putting up the points, got pretty decent efficiency. A double. And like you mentioned, this isn't a Luka Doncic situation where he's doing it at one end, and then you could just put him in the pick and roll, and they're just abusing him on the other end. It is absolutely not that. He is still locking down whoever he's guarding. I saw some really favorable defensive numbers for when Tatum is the primary defender.
I have a theory with the 3-point shooting. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Well, it's really hard to make really hard shots. He takes a lot of bad threes.
It's his favorite.
It's his favorite, but I'm just saying he's acting like I can't make the hardest shot in the world again. It's like, well, stop taking the hardest shot in the world. And I think we're getting a little bit more of that, and that's good. I think that helps us. He was flying so high last year making those shots nonstop. Like that, it's an insane reliability on that step back. I like that we're getting away from that, because that was an offensive killer. We were talking about the ball's moving. When he does that stuff, the ball's not moving. So that's my theory on the 3-point shot, is that he's just not taking those tough shots that are hard threes, and that's why he's not making the threes. Those are the few threes he gets. No more step backs.
I think we even before the injury, it was always he's such a good player. Like, just why are you like bailing the defense out? It's not the same level, but it's similar to we've played the Sixers in the past, or we played the Knicks, and Cat or Embiid is at the top of the key launching a deep three. It's like, awesome. Thank you. Like, we do not have the big men that could really continually deal with you in the post. So, yep, three's worth more than two. But yeah, launch away.
All right, let's talk about a couple other matchups here. I think these will all be in a sweep, but we'll go in. Let's see, my least likely sweeps. I think Denver Minnesota is actually a really likely sweep. I didn't like what I saw out of Minnesota. I don't think they have. I just don't think they're the matchup that they wish they were. There's something on paper and history that they think they line up well with this team, but Denver's really good when things are going well, and their guys are healthy right now. Maybe they don't survive every single game. Aaron Gordon is you're just waiting for the injury, but until then, I don't think anybody's getting in Denver's way until we get to the really really good teams, and I just don't think Minnesota's
I
one
just
of them.
think I think Ant will put the team on his back and just force it to happen in one of the games at home.
I don't think they can hold it off. I think Denver is on a mission. They're sending messages. Ant's going to try it. They need more than just Ant, though. The problem is when he does that, it's similar to the Celtics, where they need the ball to move, and sometimes the ball doesn't move when he's doing that. It's going to be hard. Jokic is just playing unreal.
Oh, yeah, it continues.
Just
I mean,
insane.
I think it just helps in, if you look back at just the results and just go, all right, well, he's winning these MVPs, decent regular seasons, but there's been some, playoffs and just haven't quite made it as far. But if you look a little bit deeper, there's been a lot of times where there's just these injuries. And so it's like, for sure, all teams have the injuries, but it's Jokic is doing all of the things. And it's just, well, at a certain point, you just like can't overcome it. So just having guys mostly healthy, I think is going to be very helpful for him.
I think Jokic wants to wrap this up. I don't think he wants to play a lot of games.
That would be smart.
Next one, let's do San Antonio versus Portland. Portland's still
what a visual from that game.
Did you like it? Were you bothered by the t-shirt colors in the crowd alternating in multiple colors?
No, I liked it. I liked the way that it coordinated with the court. It's been a while since they've played. It was pretty full buy-in, and it was unique for sure. OKC does the alternating. I think most teams just do one color, but I thought it was cool that each section and the way that they did it. Yeah, like I said, the way that it integrated with the court, it was a cool thing to do. It's easy just to do what everybody else is doing. So to take it a step further, I commend their taking a chance.
I thought it was well executed. Now, there's two different opinions to this. There's the guy that's sitting at home on the TV and the couch right here watching this. I thought it looked great. The guy at the game, though, that's there live in person, I'm not sure if I want to put the shirt on. I'll give you that. But does it look cool from home? And am I happy when everyone puts the shirt on? It looked like everyone put the shirt on. It looks great from home. But do you have an issue with it watching it live, putting the shirt on? You already got all dressed up. You got your gear on, right? You probably spent good money to have the gear you have just to get to the game, of which you also spent some money on. And here they're giving you the free shirt, which, yeah, great free shirt to put over everything. I nitpick, but would you put the shirt on?
If I was in the lower bowl, I'd put the shirt on. Yeah.
Upper bowl?
You got to support the team. In the upper bowl, they can't see you, so probably not. And like you said, it's not like I'm showing up not decked out, with all of my Celtics gear. So it's all right. This is like the really nice like Celtics championship shirt that I have that I'm wearing, and I just don't want to put the the commercial one that says it's different here. Just like no, I got it. But I could see being in the lower bowl where you're going to be on TV and how it's just, hey, we are all trying to row this boat in the same direction.
That was a terrible take by Simmons. That was a bad take. I'm glad Zach Lowe said something. Who is against this? Who doesn't want fans to have more of a reason or a little bit more of attention of some organized union? Like this is cool culture coming together here.
Keep it together. Hey, we're all wearing the same thing. You look across, everybody's doing this. We are all in this. Like we are part of this team, and I think that the Spurs have had a good tradition for a long time. I mean, because they've won championships, but they had a little bit of a lull. And I know they're trying to do the Jackal section. I know the Clippers are trying to start something where you can't just go in and say, we would like to have a college basketball type atmosphere. It's like, okay, but you just can't say that. You have to implement the culture. You can't just say you want it. You have to do these sorts of things.
I think they'll look forward to it the next time they do it as well. Like, oh, they're going to do the colors this night. That it should feel like a special night. They won't do it every night, but when they do it, I think you should be excited for it. Be like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll be there this will be the t-shirt night. I think that's kind of cool.
But did you hear? And I think it just happens to be coincidence. They're playing the Blazers, but have you heard the weird stuff happening around the Blazers right now?
El Cheapo.
Yeah, they have a newer owner, and it sure seems like he's trying to save money. It's like, okay, you bought the team, it's expensive, all of that, but it just seems like this nickel and dime sort of stuff that if you're winning, it can go away, but this could turn into a real problem if you start to slip. Where they asked after they because it came out like the day before what the Spurs were going to do. So they asked the Blazers, and the Blazers kind of said like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do something else. So when I saw that, it's like, okay, that's not a big deal. I know, like the Celtics, it's not always t-shirts. There's towels. There's a bunch of different teams can do different things. It just doesn't have to be t-shirts, and I don't think it should just be t-shirts. But then there's other stuff of like I'm saying, like nickel and diming things that you can only pay players so much money. There is a maximum contract and there is a salary cap. So money only goes so far, and so you're going to end up at a equal compared to other organizations. So I would think you would want to win in the margins where you can spend more money to get players in where you're not paying them any more money. But they're not paying for the two-way guys to go to the games. The two-way guys aren't eligible, but most teams, still kind of, hey, you guys are you played for the team. They get to go on the travel. Talking about staff members like in the lobby of the hotels, making sure guys are checking out on time to avoid late fees. For sure, NBA guy players, they're staying at fancier hotels, but is there not some sort of process in place that, hey, we're not like the normal people. We're not going to bed at 11 o'clock, waking up at 8 o'clock, and getting out at the normal time. We played a basketball game, and so say you don't even go out. You played basketball game from 7 to 10. You shower up, you do media. Say you don't even get back to the hotel at midnight, and that's assuming you don't go out at all, which is that's not going to happen. You're going to go out. You're going to get dinner or something. Of just either you're paying those late fees or you're just coming up with some sort of deal. But I think that this is just like the beginning. That only more of this is going to come out. I think this one will be a sweep. I think the Spurs are just too good, and more of this stuff is going to come out, and it's not going to be a good look.
How do I say it? The worst characteristic an owner can have and still be allowed to own a team is being cheap. Anything worse than that, you wouldn't be able to own the team because it'd be a terrible thing. It'd be a Sterling sort of situation. But the worst thing you can be and the worst characteristic you can have and still be allowed to own the team is cheap. Who wants to go play for a cheap organization? Who wants to go play and who wants to negotiate with a contract thing next season for whatever reason with the team owner who just paid multiple billions of dollars? I think it was 3.9. It's 4 billion to have this team. It is gonna. He needs a booster. He needs a college booster to cover all of this, apparently. That's what he needs, because someone would happily do this. But the people that you think would happily do this would be the guys that can afford a basketball team, Zach, that's worth $3 billion.
And I would just think, you have these premier athletes at the top of their game, and you want them to have the easiest travel, the easiest of everything. And I am nowhere near that level, but I know when I go to work, there could be certain things that it'll drive you crazy, and you just go, why are you doing this? Why are you making this so much harder? And so this is just expanded 100-fold. Of I can easily see guys leaving this team because of this, or letting other guys know. And so when they're in negotiations, going, I don't want to play, go to this. The NBA doesn't do or I don't think they do the same thing like the NFL has the the survey at the end of all of the things. But word is still going to get around, even if there's nothing official that says, hey, yeah, this guy's a cheapskate, and they don't provide family care. There's no family room during the games, or we have to pay for our own meals after practice. Just all these things that you think are simple. And I think that some of these billionaires, you ran a business a certain way, and if you just have regular people, you can get away with that because regular people are interchangeable. Just, you don't want to pay for your meal? Cool. You get out of here. You're going to have another person in your place. You can't do that in the NBA. These guys are too skilled, and they're very much not interchangeable.
I'd be so bummed. I would just be so bummed if I was the Trailblazers. Everything is trending in the right direction. The weird coaching situation with Thiago Splitter, where they lose Chauncey Billups at the beginning of the year he's indicted. Like he's I don't need to go into any more detail than that. Their coach was indicted, and now Thiago Splitter takes over this team and
and gets him to the playoffs.
gets him to the playoffs and can't even get the head coach. He's still the preliminary temporary coach in place.
I didn't have any problem with that.
A whole season, and we don't know if we want to keep him. You want to see
Would
more?
you keep him?
Well, I would, but I imagine because Mr. Cheapo here isn't going to want to pay him.
If I'm not mistaken, did Missoula shed the interim coach for the first season? I think that he did towards the end, but I feel like it was him, and there was another situation. I didn't remember like the talking heads talking about it, and I feel like they tried to make it into or bring out like a racial component in it, where I just don't think that should have been an automatic like Thiago Splitter like, oh well, you took over, so you just get the job. They might have different plans, and I don't think that was ridiculous.
I think they do have different plans, and I do think he will be a head coach for another team next year for a contract that'll be way bigger than whatever Portland was going to offer him. Because I think what he did this year was hard.
Weird. I would put this below the aspiration investigation, but I feel like I haven't heard anything about Chauncey Billups in like a long time, whether it's from the NBA or from the actual the actual very serious court situation. So I don't know if there's anything within there. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think there might have been something in it where we didn't want to make Missoula the head coach because that would have meant something like we relinquished Ime being like the head coach, and I think there was like a financial component in there. I don't. It's all kind of hazy now. I'm glad we got Maz. I'm glad we figured it all out. But I'm not too mad at the Blazers organization for not switching that over. Of hey, coach through this year, and then in the offseason, figure it out whether it's a full contract or we're moving on to somebody else. But super weird situation. You're not expecting your head coach to get indicted for poker gambling, allegedly, a week into the season.
How could you ever prepare for anything like that? Impossible.
Yeah.
What's a bummer though is they got a new owner. They're probably gonna have a new coach. They're trending in the right direction, and it just feels like they're gonna hit the reset button on something that doesn't need to be reset again. Like ride this out, see what we got here. And I'm worried we're gonna get a new coach, and then it'll probably be a new GM, and it's just gonna be so many new things in here that the momentum they have finally gained won't be there next year. It'll be something different.
What are you talking about? They got Dame coming back next year. That's the headline. That puts butts in the seats.
Yeah, a lot of almost success with that one too, and I'm sure the recency of seeing Dame even in Milwaukee is it's just uninspiring. So you can sell that to the fans all you want. I think the team they have this year is a little bit more exciting without Dame, and sure you can plug him in, but the defensive weaknesses I just I don't see it with Dame. I don't think Dame's a good fit on this team. It is his team though, is it not? Like I still think it is.
I think it has to be. I don't think.
Yeah, who would it be?
I don't think Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think he is currently a better player than Dame is, but I think that Dame has the history, and Denny is just didn't come in highly regarded, and it just hasn't quite hit that level yet.
I do still think Dame's a likable guy, and if he's truly taken a step back, I'm curious to see what that looks like. Because he wasn't really prepared to do that in Milwaukee. I'm curious to see if he would do that for Portland, though. Do you think he would? Like, does he have to start?
Yeah.
Or do you think there's a window where Dame would come off the bench for Portland? Because I don't think he would do that for Milwaukee.
Maybe at least initially he could get talked into it of coming off of the injury, but that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. I'm not sure if he's quite. I think he's getting closer, but not sure if he's quite that all the way end of his career.
Oh boy! All right, next matchup. Let's do a little OKC Phoenix. How many fights? We gonna get some fights? You're against the fights and the ejections, but I think we're getting more. I think we're getting handsy in this one.
I don't think we're gonna get any fights in the playoffs.
No.
Maybe a little pushing and shoving with flagrants, but nothing beyond flagrants.
Does Phoenix have any chance to win a game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think that they're 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 going to try. This team kind of came out of already just being in the playoffs, made it through the play-in. It's a successful season for them. OKC is a buzzsaw for them. I think that Dylan Brooks is going to try to do these antics to try to get under their skin, to try to make something happen. But I don't think this is a situation where you can do those antics. I just think that OKC is too good. And even if it gets into one guy's head, it's not going to be enough to take the whole team down.
Brooks is having a good season. I don't want to take away from it. I actually think he deserves a lot of credit. But even if he is able to do his little games and take any one person out, they're just loaded with so many other positions, and they just don't have the guns. They don't. It's still a good story for Phoenix. I mean, who would have thought you lose, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and this team is significantly better.
It's better.
Significantly better.
Probably more fun.
I don't know. There's still some Jalen Green possessions that'll give you a headache. Those aren't going away. But you know what? You know who looked like they could use some of that, though? Did it not look like Houston could have used, I don't know, a little guard play? A scoring guard, maybe? A young scoring guard?
I hear you, but again, Durant didn't play at all. So if I don't know if you just go backwards and go, oh well, this is just how it's gonna work. Like now we're like getting real creative with hypotheticals.
They haven't valued the guard position. They made a trade for more forwards and then drafted more forwards and then signed more forwards. And then they had Steven Adams as like it's bad decisions, bad stuff. Cleveland versus Toronto. Toronto, how could we get them a game? Ingram's going to have a game? How could we make this happen?
Harden.
Oh, just they go cold. Okay.
Oh, Harden has a bad game. They steal one.
Okay, just one.
Maybe two. I just feel like the Cavs just in the past, and maybe this will be the year they finally get over it, or maybe Harden is just like steadying hand. I just feel like we've seen this before, where it just they come into the or during the regular season they're really good, and then the playoffs just like what are you guys doing? And so maybe just a few years of that in the playoffs, and it's very much a lot of the same core, with Harden in and Garland out. But the rest, it's still there. So maybe maybe they'll break through, and it'll only be one. But I could just see this. We're talking in a week, going, how is this the one that's competitive?
What's the injury on Cleveland that suddenly makes this? Oh, well, wait, well they don't have him. Well, maybe.
Probably something with Mobley.
Yeah, probably Mobley. It seems possible, but. Again, I think these are going to be sweeps. I don't think those are going to happen. I think Cleveland will be healthy, and they're going to take care of business here. Toronto doesn't have the X factor. I think Quickly is a little bit more the X factor, but they're playing Shed, and it's really a bad conundrum of having. If they're like, all right, we have some guy that can do offense, but he can't do defense. We have the other guy that can do this offense, but not the defense either. There's not a great lineup for Toronto. I don't know how they ended up where they're at. Like, it's kind of impressive that this weird roster is even as effective as it is. But I think the ceiling is first round. I can't imagine this team winning multiple games or even really putting a lot of pressure on Cleveland. Or anything else for the NBA playoffs of current teams?
Should we talk about some of the teams that didn't make it out of the play-in?
We should. I've not currently in the playoffs. Eliminated teams.
Oh,
newly
yes,
eliminated.
I would like to talk about some of the eliminated teams.
Well, which one do you want to start with first?
Maybe we should start with the Warriors? I think that's the biggest headline, right?
Is it? Because I kind of thought Charlotte was my massive disappointment. I locked them into the playoffs, Zach. No doubt. All right, they're gonna get in. They have multiple chances to get in. Couldn't get in, and not only can they get in, they look terrible. They look bad. They got blown out so bad by Orlando. I told you I might start rethinking things for next year. I've seen all 82 games, and 2 games made me shift other ways of being like, well, maybe I should rethink everything on this team. The LaMelo factor, man, the highs and lows of that, I give you credit if you want to marry that. I just couldn't. I think you have to inspect some options here. Now, that doesn't mean you do trade him, but I do think you have to at least entertain the idea that there's a value of this guy, and he might be value on some other team, and you might be able to get something back for him that isn't such a roller coaster. Am I crazy for taking away that for the 2 big games here?
I don't know where you would send him to get something back. I think you're kind of locked into it, but they probably shouldn't even have won the game against the Heat. It goes into overtime somehow. LaMelo and Khan are both ice cold from three. LaMelo goes 2 for 16 from three, just cannot make it. Gets the game winner on the two. Hurts Bam in the first half, so that was disappointing. A crazy exciting finish, not very good. It's LaMelo turning the ball over and then fouling Hero so Hero can make three free throws. I've never been more confident of a guy making 3 free throws. There's just certain guys that go up there and you're, I don't know, a lot of pressure. Where Hero, it's like, no, he is for sure. He is for sure going to make all 3 of these, and then LaMelo's able to save the day. But even there, they were just right on the edge, and I still thought you had said last week, even if they don't make it, just being able to, or no, if whoever lost the 7-8 was going to lose to Charlotte, and I thought going into it, it was at least going to be close. It wasn't even close. The Magic said, like, right in the first, at the end of the first, they're up 20. Like, hey, no, we got this from you. We're going to the playoffs. You guys are going home.
I don't know what the value is, but I would move on from LaMelo. He should have been ejected from that game, which is one way they should have lost to Miami. They should have lost. The turnover was bad. The fouling on a 3. Any other foul would have been fine.
Him?
I think we have so many stops, delays, rewinds, and reviews that it is insane to me that a player grabbed another player by his ankle, and we can see the replay. We can see what happened, and we can't do anything about it. And then that player in a playoff eligible sort of game, a qualifying game, doesn't come back, and the game's a 2-point game. I just think all that adds up for all
1 point game.
1 point game for all the breaks and for all the reviews and for every single time I got to go to a commercial break. We can't get this one call right. Everything else we can squeeze in, but not that one. I just thought this was so easy and so wrong, and we should have tossed him. You know, he should have been tossed.
But that's what they asked the referee afterwards and said there was no call made on that play. So once that went past, there was no stoppage in play, so there was no review opportunity.
Well, we have so many other review opportunities for all the wrong things.
I don't want to open this door to you can review anything at any time. There's already too many reviews. It already still drives me crazy. I think college got a little bit better about it the past couple of years, but it is still, it kills all of the momentum, and it just takes it takes an exciting game and just it doesn't ruin it, but it just, my attention is now gone from the game.
We're reviewing the wrong stuff.
And a lot of times now they'll go to review and they'll go to commercial, and then maybe you see a review and then they just tell you what it's going to be. I'm sure the league loves it because it's more opportunities to show more commercials. But for me, I don't even care anymore. It's just make the call, keep the game going. Keep the game going.
They're never going to get rid of the reviews. They're never going to slow this down. I guess my beef is just that we took time to look at fingertips of somebody going out to decide one possession, and this possession decided whether or not the best player on the Miami Heat was going to be eligible to play the rest of the game because the other guy on Charlotte grabbed him by the ankle and hurt him. Like, this should be like an ABS flag goes up of like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, this wasn't right. We shouldn't let this sort of stuff slide by, and the only reason we can't stop it is because we don't want to stop the game for this sort of review. We review for everything else. We review for too many other things. This seems like the reason we should have review, and all the other reasons seem like the reasons we shouldn't. I didn't like it.
I don't even know if they had reviewed it, if they would have tossed him. Probably a flagrant. I don't know if it would have been considered a flagrant too. And so then our options are what we got, or all right, no, now this is more fair, but now we've lost the 2 best players in the game.
I just had a hard time explaining it. What was he doing? What was
I don't
know. What basketball
he
play?
He got hit in the head. I don't know.
He got hit in the head, but he was able to grab someone's ankle and kind of pull the rug from under him.
I was talking to you about this. You have been more interested in the Hornets. Simmons has jumped all on board with the Hornets. I feel like they've been a little bit of America's darling. But it was like early in the week. I was looking at the roster and it hit me, and I had to ask you. So I'll bring it up now. How is this a likable team? I mean, maybe it's just like all the parts together. But like if you go through, and some of these are joking, and some of these are like very serious. Like You have Miles Bridges, domestic violence, pretty serious issue. You have Brandon Miller in connection with possibly handling a weapon in a murder case in college. You have LaMelo Ball, the youngest of the Ball brothers. You have 2 Duke starters from last year. And you have Grant Williams, not the most likable guy even amongst his teammates. And I mean, that's just like I said. Some of these are more real than others, and just you put it together, it's like, wait a minute, how is this the likable team?
Well, you forgot the most likable thing about this roster, right? It's very college related. I thought you'd bring it up. I'll wait till you do.
Which part?
Well, they have they have the most Michigan State players of all the NBA rosters. You got more than any other
See, you
team.
keep bringing that up, but what is it, 2?
Yeah. Well, we're not fucking Duke, man. What do you want from me? Like, there's not going to be 7 Duke players.
It's like 2 versus 1. This could like change at any moment.
You know what? Now you're belittling me. I should have brought it up.
You kept bringing it up. You brought it up more than once, and I ignored it as much as I could. But now you're going to bring it on Front Street of just, well, I thought and you kept bringing it up like it was like well known, like throughout the community, and like this is like coming up all the time. It's like
not well known.
I don't have time to look it up.
I didn't think it needed to be looked up. I just thought it'd be common knowledge. I just want to be part of the pack here. Just want to act like a blue blood for 2 seconds here. Couldn't get the invite to the party apparently. I'll try again next year. Keep it moving. What else about the NBA? Who else is eliminated? You want to talk about the Clippers and their disaster? Because they're gone also.
So Clippers start off the season awful, then trade Harden kind of right when they start to get on a hot streak. And just talk about a disaster. Trade for Kawhi and Paul George. For sure, injuries. It just never works. Then they're going up against the Warriors. They're up 13 points in the fourth quarter and just cannot get it done. Just a meltdown at home. The poor Wall. It's Al Horford. 4 threes in a row, and Curry just puts on the Jets. I'll admit that Wednesday, I saw Clippers were up double digits. Curry didn't look good. He went into the locker room, and I said, "Nope, that's it for them." So I woke up to a surprise that's on me. But I guess they never really had just high expectations for the Clippers. I think that they had Harden, had Kawhi, they had Paul George before, and it just never worked out for them.
What's more upsetting, and I don't even know if you could argue this, I think this was Kawhi's best year, and they didn't make the playoffs.
On the Clippers, yeah.
This was his best season, and they didn't make the playoffs. They've had worse Kawhi seasons and been competitive in the playoffs. How is that math ever going to add up, man? Did you blame Garland? Do you blame the trade? Because I don't know if this would have changed with Harden. Do you feel like a different outcome if James Harden was on the team?
It's all well and good to say, oh, how well the second half went, and they were up with the elite teams in the second half. But you weren't 500 in the first half of the year. It was really, really bad. It was. Wait, are they trying to tank? Like they know they don't have their pick. I think what's maybe the most interesting out of this is since the Clippers don't make the playoffs, they are in the lottery. They don't have their pick. Do you know who has their pick?
OKC.
OKC has their pick, and they have the same odds that the Mavericks had last year to get flagged. So for that to happen 2 years in a row, very, very unlikely, but not 0% likely.
Well, the scarier part is that OKC is actually good at drafting, and regardless of what pick they get, they're going to do something with it. You can give the Knicks every pick in the world.
They're still going to get a lottery pick.
The OKC will walk away from this at whatever number with value. I have no doubt about that. I'd be shocked if they whiffed on this. I'm more scared of which guard they're going to get that's going to suddenly light up the team next year. It's going to be something, and it won't matter what number. And it's all the Clippers' fault, and it's all Paul George's fault, and it's all Kawhi's fault.
Even if they don't move up, a team that won a championship is the favorite to win the championship this year and is going to get a 12 pick in a loaded draft where this might, their younger guys are going to get more expensive, but now if they lose some of their younger guys that you move elsewhere, but now you're able to fill it in with good cheap talent. Like that's exactly like the system that they need. That's exactly how like the modern NBA with the way they made the double aprons. Like this is the way to do it.
It's so perfectly executed. It's what Boston had to do right now, where we had to shed our entire cap. We lose everybody over last year into this year. If we were able to have a lottery pick going into this year and say, well, maybe we can hold on to all this cap because the lottery pick isn't going to get paid, there would have been other scenarios, but we weren't set up quite like that. It's amazing to me that this team is, where they could still fail in the playoffs and go into the offseason saying, we'll be there on draft day. We're going to have we're going to add something next year, or we make a move, which is another possibility. They have even more draft picks to package things to arguably move up. What's going to stop them? Who's going to say no to all their picks? This is a good draft. All these teams tanked to get it. What if OKC's like, we'll give you all of this for the first pick?
Maybe they will.
Maybe they will. And it's all the damn Clippers' fault. All right, real quick, we got to move on to the NFL. Quick 10-minute talk here.
Oh, hold on. I got one more NBA thing. Can't let them off the hook.
You're on the curfew.
Warriors, is it over? Is it over, Kerr? It sure seemed like he doesn't really want to do this anymore. And how perfect if this is the way that Draymond's career ends, of playing game one, pretty good, a lot of good defensive effort, and then the second one, terrible game, fouls out, gets kicked out, makes a whole scene, just typical Draymond Green stuff of, yep, that is the whole thing in a package right there.
There are so many bad trades that Golden State has left to make before they punt on this entire thing. I think they go one more big swing. They did the Jimmy Butler thing. That opened the door. There's other Jimmy Butler possibilities of trade-like things that I think they will go after. I don't think it'll be Giannis. Paolo's interesting. I just don't think it's a good fit. I think that's almost like bringing back Kuminga in some ways. But I do think this is a team that will try to make a move. The name I'm going to throw out there is I think they're going to go after Kawhi. I think this team is going to get Kawhi Leonard.
And that would be trading Jimmy or trading Draymond or both?
I'm not sure.
I think Kerr is done. I think you are correct that they're going to make a swing, try to do something. But I think Kerr has been kind of on the last legs for a little bit now and playing in the playing game and probably dealing with Draymond Green every day just wears you out.
All right, real quick, NFL segment here. The Patriots are likely to trade for A.J. Brown. There's a rumor that is not new, but yet today, this is news. Why is this news? And go ahead and tell me why it's news, and then I'll tell you why this is a terrible idea.
I'm never a fan of this is likely to happen, and this isn't a free agency. This is a trade. So I don't know how I'm supposed to assess this, we're getting this player, but I have no idea. Are we giving up a first-round pick? Are we giving up 2 first-round picks? Or are we giving up a 5th-round pick? Because what we give up has a huge indication of whether I think this is a good trade or not. I don't know one side of the trade.
We don't need A.J. Brown. This is a mistake. We are a fragile, Super Bowl hungover team that doesn't need the distraction. The plus minus of this will not help us. This is going to be a sloppy, messy year. We don't need to bring him in to add to the friction that's going to come. And we already got enough attention that we don't need right now on a team that will be worse this year. We cannot be better. There's no scenario where the way this team is better. The schedule's going to be harder. Even if we are skill-wise better than this year, we will not have the same wins and the same sort of control of everything that we had last year. So I just don't want to bring this in. I don't think it's worth the value. It's just not worth the contract value. It's not worth the disruption value. They just don't see the gain of it all. Everyone thinks this is going to be a plug it in and we're just going to be in the playoffs immediately because of all this. We have so many other things that we could trade for. There's so many other elements to this offense that we are missing on that we're going to throw AJ into this, and it's going to be a sad offense, and then he's going to be AJ. Nothing about all this. He won 2 Super Bowls and isn't happy. You think we're going to be able to fix this? I don't get in a relationship to fix somebody, right? Is that not a saying? It seems like what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to fix AJ Brown. I don't want to be the team to do it. It's a bad idea.
On the other side, what if he doesn't have to play with Jalen Hurts? Seems like there might have been some friction there. He comes back. He played for Vrabel when he was in Tennessee, so they have a relationship. So if that's a good relationship, and now you have Drake May throwing bombs to you on a regular basis, maybe you're a little bit happier than you were when you're on the Eagles. And we need a number 1 receiver. We're not bringing back Stephon Diggs, so I think AJ Brown is towards the tippy top. But right now, we need more. We need more firepower for the receivers for Drake to be successful.
I'd rather swing with somebody young and age something better. I think in 2
But that's
years.
what I mean. That's where we don't know. If we're giving up 2 first-round picks, I'm gonna be like, man, we gotta give up all that. Like, why can't we get somebody younger? But if we are giving up something, day 3 pick, it's like, all right, yeah, let's go. Let's give it a try. It's not my money.
We are nowhere near a one player away Super Bowl contending team this year. This
You didn't even think we were a playoff team last year, and look what happened.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be the correction of all of this. This is so ridiculous. This offense was not as good as everyone wanted it to be. We can't just put AJ Brown in here and expect everything to just work. We're still going to have the same problems, and AJ's just going to be mad with the problems that we have. There'll be new problems. The only problem is this time we asked for it because we traded for him.
I feel like at other times, why a guy's upset, where, the team's not winning or not getting enough, touches as they expected. But this year, I couldn't put my finger on why is this guy upset? Like, this is so weird. The team's winning, and then it was, okay, well, he's not getting enough touches. And it's like, well, he'd get the touches, and then he still didn't seem happy. So that would be my concern of, well, I can't fix the problem if I don't even know what the problem is.
All right, well, which welcoming book are you going to buy him to hold on the sideline? I think you could promote, maybe something local. Is there an author you want to promote?
I got nothing. You got
nothing.
Don't read books on the sideline.
Don't read books. Okay. Well, we'll give out a little bit better.
Read books at home. Don't read them on the sideline. Pay attention to the game.
Here's some better advice. Maybe you should subscribe. Little column A, little column B. Make sure you follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked C-Man 24.
We've made it. The playoffs are here. College basketball is gone, although the portal is open. We didn't do a lot of talking on it today. We won't, but we think in the future we should mention a lot. There's going to be a lot more movement. We talk about when the coaches move. I think we should talk about when some of these relevant players move. What do you think about that next week?
Yes, I can do a little portal talk.
Anything stick out now? Any little rumors? Anything spicy?
I think it's a combination of both the portal and then who's sticking around.
It officially opens or closes. When does the movement happen? It's like tomorrow or this week?
So the portal opened the day after the national championship, and now the portal closes tomorrow. And so it is definitely confusing. But what that means is that tomorrow is the last chance for players to enter the portal. You don't have to leave the portal yet, but you have to have, if you're on a team and you want to transfer, you have to put your name in. I think there's a few exceptions, but by next week we'll have known all of the guys that have decided that they are going to at least be entertaining the idea of transferring.
Yeah, UConn, Braylon Mullins, he's coming back. You have to live the fear on more, man. One more year. It's not
just
away.
that, Nick Amenia, who had to deal with Mullins, he's joining him. He's going to UConn.
Oh, boy. We really screwed all this up. All right, we'll be back next week. Little column A, little column B.
Little column A, little column B.